Shalom Aleichem, Erev Tov. We want to welcome everyone to the weekly class in Dvar Malchus. And before we start the class, so we again want to mention that Baruch Hashem, we received a great miracle from Hashem through the Rebbe. Our eldest son, Avram Mordechai Sheyichye, became a chosen, and we're going to be celebrating the vort, or the engagement, this coming Thursday evening in Rehovot at 8 o'clock in the Kretschnev Hall. And whoever can make it will be very happy. It'll be an honor and pleasure to see you at this occasion. And we bless everyone for, everyone should have their personal simchas with all your heart's wishes fulfilled for the good. Bonei chayim zener vichei b'kulir vichei. The main thing, the best thing that we're waiting for already, or almost 2,000 years, the revelation of the Rebbe Shlitah Melech HaMashiach, Teichef Umiyad Mamish. Amen. We're in the Dvar Malchus, and it was the end, towards the end of Parshas Tetzaveh, a portion of Tetzaveh, the second Sicha. In the hard copy, in the edition that I'm using, we're on page 380. Ois test, letter test. In the PDF file, it's page 26, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 26. And it's also obviously Ois test, letter test. The Rebbe goes on to say as follows: V'yesh le'yisif v'levar atam she'imrim b'chol yom abaye havim sadir seder maroch ha'mishmad gemara ve'alibad al de'abba Shaul. Or if we translate to Hebrew, B'Shem HaTalmud, it states in the name in the Talmud, Ulefi Das Abba Shaul. In other words, it's according to the opinion of Abba Shaul. By the way, whoever doesn't know, Abba Shaul is one of the local Sfatonians, or in Beria, not our neighbor, and he's actually there buried with his wife. Abba Shaul ve'ishto. If anyone is there, it's a major place to pray for. But why do we say this? According to Abba Shaul, hatovas chamesh neres kedemes ledam atomid, that we prepare the five lights of the candelabra before the sprinkling of the blood of the perpetual sacrifice of the Beis Hamikdash, of the morning Tomid. The Dama Tomid kedem latavas shtei neres, and the blood of the Tomid is before the preparing of the two last candles of the candelabra. V'atovas shtei neres kedem likteres, and the preparing of the two candles of the candelabra comes before the offering of the incense. And this is despite the fact that the halacha in Jewish law, what has been rendered the law, the halacha, is according to the opinion of the rabbis, of Chachamim, which is shakteres hi ben hatovas chamesh neres la hatovas shtei neres, that the offering of the incense is between the preparation of the five first lights of the menorah, and after comes the preparation of the two last lights of the menorah. You have to understand what is going on here. The Beis Yosef, who is Rabbi Yosef Karo, he's again a local Tzvatonian here in Tzfas Kesef. He writes, She'af al-pi Rambam posak Rabbanon, that even though Maimonides has rendered the halacha according to our rabbis Rabbanon, the plige Abba Shaul, that have a dispute with the opinion of Abba Shaul, ve'amrei shecholkim al Abba Shaul ve'imrim kteres mafsik ben hatovas chomesh latovas shtayim, that the offering of the incense protrudes between the preparing of the first lights and the preparing of the last two lights of the candelabra, and the offering of the Talmid sacrifice of the morning and the throwing of the blood upon the altar comes before the preparation of the 5 lights of the menorah. And so also it seems it also seems to be the opinion of the smag, the Sefer the Sefer Mitzvahs Gedolos of Rav Saadia Gaon. And according to this, it would be appropriate to put the order as follows. The sprinkling of the blood of the Tomid offering should come before the preparing of the 5 lights, the first 5 lights of the menorah. And the preparing of the first 5 lights of the menorah should come before the offering of the incense. And the offering of the incense should come before the preparing of the 2 last lights of the candelabra. Why? But since the world has found that Abaye has made an order, and this order that he states is according to the order of Abba Shaul, mashma desvirle the hachi. So we understand from this that this is his opinion, and according to this, he renders the halacha. In other words, this is the way that we're supposed to actually go and make the order in the daily offerings in the Beis Hamikdash. Shesever sheken hi halacha, v'lachen lo yirotzu l'shonos haseder hahu, and therefore they did not want the scholars of the Talmud did not want to change and write otherwise. In other words, as Chachamim render the halacha. But at this point, we have to understand. Aleph, first of all, Maimonides and also Rav Saadia Gaon, they both knew that Abaye made his order according to the order of Abba Shaul. And therefore, we understand from Abaye that this is the way the halacha, Jewish law, is rendered in regard to the order of the offerings in the temple, in the Beis Hamikdash. And despite this, nevertheless, both Maimonides and Rab Saadia Gaon, they rendered the halacha according to Chachamim, according to the rabbis, and not according to Abba Shaul or Abaye in the name of Abba Shaul. And so what is the novelty here that forces us, according to what the world says, that the order is meant to be according to Abba Shaul and not according to Chachamim, the rabbis? And therefore, therefore they did not want to change that order of Abba Shaul, of Abaye in the name of Abba Shaul. V'shtinu psak Rambam v'smag shehalocha kachachomim, and they deviated, or they differed from the halachic rendering of Maimonides and Rab Saadia Gaon, that the halacha is according to Chachomim, according to the rabbis. Base, and second of all, the Rebbe says we have to understand the Iker b'Seder Avodas Yom Kippurim, and this is the main thing that we have to understand. In the order of the service of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, in the temple and afterwards in davening, during this time that we don't have the Beis Hamikdash to serve in, Aimrim, we say the following liturgy: Lifnim yikones lehetiv chomesh neros. Inward he would go into the sanctuary in order to go and to prepare the first five lights of the menorah, and to offer the incense of the morning, and to prepare the last two lights of the candelabra, hanish aros, that were left to prepare. Kedas chachomim shalocha k'meisam, and this we see is according to whose opinion? The opinion of the rabbis of chachomim, and therefore the halacha is according to them, seemingly. And not according to the opinion of Abaye that took the opinion of Abba Shaul and rendered differently from Chachomim. And however you want to explain this, the Rebbe says, Im beseder Avodas Yom Kippurim shino midivra Abaye sheposa ke'Abba Shaul, if in the order of the service of the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, they deviated or they changed from the words of Abaye that rendered the halacha, the Jewish law, according to Abba Shaul. So therefore, why is it that in the order, the daily order of the temple of the Beis Hamikdash during the year, outside the order of the day on Yom Kippur, why did all the other days of the year they didn't change the order? Yeah, in the daily order of the service of the offerings, like we see in the Beis Hamikdash. And the Rebbe says that we must say that the explanation to this, according to the inner dimensions of the Torah, according to Hasidic philosophy, Matzu ha'elam. Yeah, b'pnimis ha'inyanim matzu ha'elam. We quoted that the world found that Abaye renders the halacha according to Abba Shaul, and this is why they did not want to change from the halacha that Abaye brought in the name of Abba Shaul, and they did, and it was not rendered according to the opinion of Chachomim. Even though wherever there is a machlekes, yochid verabim, when there is a single rabbi, a single opinion of one rabbi, and chachamim, and the opinion of many rabbis in the Talmud, so we see that the halacha is always according to the many, and not according to the single opinion. Miloshon helem vehester. The word olam, world, also comes from the Hebrew root word he'elem, which means hiddenness, concealment. Meirel maimadu matzav agolos. This connotates the situation and the status of the Jewish nation in Golus, in exile. Bonim shegolu me'al shulchan avim. Children that were exiled from the table of their father, the table of Avinu Shebashamayim, the Holy One, blessed be He. She'azem b'maimadu matzav diyosem. For then they have the Jewish nation has the title or the situation and the status of an orphan. Rachmana litzlan, Hashem should watch over us. And this is also hinted to in the name of Abaye. Rashi Tevis, what is the acronym of the name of Abaye? Asher Becha Yerucham Yosem. That with you, an orphan will be comforted, will find comfort or mercy. Since their father, the father of the Jewish nation, is found in a different place, not together with the children, kavyochol, per se, so to speak, kamrumas b'shmei shel Abba Shaul, and this is hinted to in the name of whom? Abba Shaul. Shetzrichim lehash'il, that we have to borrow Shaul, kavyochol. This is another, Shaul was the first king of Israel, but it also comes from the root word in Hebrew of something that is sha'ul, something that is borrowed. Per se, es ha'aba mimokom acher. In other words, the father was borrowed from a different place. So this again connotates that the father is not together with the children. And therefore, in regard to the order of the ma'aracha, the order of the offerings that and the service in the Beis Hamikdash on a daily basis, the world did not want to change that order. That Abaye went and rendered the halacha in the name of Abba Shaul, that the preparing of the preparing of the two lights of the menorah, the last two lights, is before the offering of the incense. For in the situation and the stature of the hiddenness and concealment of the period of time of exile, it is not so it is not so possible, let's say, that it is not so possible that the concept of the highest level of the neshama, Yechida, will be drawn down and will be revealed in the service of the Beis Hamikdash, b'keiches pnimim, with the inner powers of the soul. The adlam and until we would come to the drawing down and the revelation in the world, which is hinted to in the service of the offering of the incense, in regard to the preparing of the two lights, the two last lights of the menorah, for we see that according to the opinion of Abba Shaul, the incense is not offered before the preparing of the two last lights of the menorah. It's not a preparation in order to come to the preparing of the two last lights of the menorah, but the offering of the incense is a service which is exclusive to itself, an independent service. It's not a preparation for another service. But when we come to the recitation of the order of the service in the temple, in the Beis Hamikdash, on the Day of Atonement, on Yom Kippur, since on Yom Kippur, the Jewish nation are found, Gam Bizman Agolus, even during the time of exile, Bedarga Nales, at a very high level, high spiritual level, to the extent that each and every Jewish individual, is exemplified and compared to the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, that enters into the sanctuary, lifnim, not only to the holy, but to the holy of holies, where the ark stood. Therefore, we say in the order of the day of Yom Kippur, into the sanctuary he will enter, the Kohen Gadol, in order to prepare the first 5 lights of the menorah, of the candelabra, and to offer the incense of the morning, and to prepare the last 2 lights of the menorah that were left to prepare. Excuse me. As rendered halachically according to the opinion of the rabbis of Chachamim, that the offering of the incense comes before the offering, before the preparing of the last 2 lights of the candelabra. And this hints to the drawing down and the revelation of the level of the neshama, which is called Yechida, the highest level of the soul, Ba'aveda, in the service of the Beis Hamikdash, Bekeiches pnimiyim, in the inner energy, in the inner powers, the inner powers of the world, and the soul, ve'adlam shocha ve'agilui ba'olam, to the extent that this is drawn down and revealed in the entire world. V'yesh loimar, and the Rebbe comes and summarizes that we have to say sheme'amir seder ha'aveda b'yom kippurim, that from the recitation of the order of the day, of the service, during the Day of Atonement, during Yom Kippur, which is achas b'shana, once a year, nimshach al kol hashana kula, this is drawn upon the entire year and the entire service of the Beis Hamikdash during all the other days of the year. Kamrumas ba'amiras habraisa the pitum hakteres, as is hinted to when we recite the braisa of in the davening of pitum hakteres, the preparation of the incense. Ushleisha monim yaserim, and there were 3 additional portions. Shemihem machnis kohen gadol, from into which the kohen gadol, the high priest, would put his hands into b'yom kippurim, on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, umachazir on the machteres be'er Yom Kippurim, and then the eve of Yom Kippur he would place them back into the pistil, where they would powder the incense even thinner, so that it should be the thin of the thinnest. And this means that even every day of the year, this will be comparative and exemplified to the completion of the offering of the incense on Yom Kippur, on the Day of Atonement. Upon which we learned and we're told that the kteres, the offering of the incense, when would it be? It would be in the middle of the preparing of the hatovas haneres, the preparing of the lights of the menorah, between the first 5 and the last 2. And so we ask Hashem, and we beseech the Rebbe to beseech Hashem on our behalf, that Hashem should give us already the preparing of the incense in the Beis Hamikdash, and the preparing of and offering of the incense, the preparing of the menorah, of the lights of the menorah, and they should shine, be drawn down and revealed throughout the entire world with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlitah Melech HaMashiach on a good and revealed basis. And this should be teichef umiyad, mamish, mamish, mamish. Amen. Yechi Adonenu, Moreinu, V'Rabbeinu, Melech HaMashiach, Chai V'Kayom, Le'olam Voed.